Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new story. A story about strength, hope, and never giving up. Today, you will hear about a man named James Madison. He faced many hard times, but he never stopped fighting. He grew to be one of the most admired leaders the world has ever known. But this is more than just history. This is a journey you will take with me. A journey to learn English with feeling and meaning. Every word you hear, every sentence you read, will help you improve your English and inspire your heart. James Madison was not perfect. He was a quiet boy from a small town, with big dreams just like you. He had fears too. Fears that everyone knows. One day, something very difficult happened. He lost the use of his legs. Yet, in that moment, he discovered something even more powerful. The strength inside himself. In this story, we will travel back in time. We will see where he came from, how he lived, and what made people believe in him when times were hardest. This is a story about light shining through darkness. A story about standing strong, even when you can't stand on your own 2 feet. As you listen and read, your English will grow naturally, with simple words, clear sentences, and deep feelings. So get comfortable, pay close attention, and open your heart to the incredible life of James Madison, a man who showed the world that hope can beat fear. Let's begin. James Madison was born on March 16, 1751, in Port Conway, Virginia, into a prosperous planter family. Born into Virginia's planter elite, James Madison was physically smaller and more delicate than many of his contemporaries. His father, James Madison Sr., was a stern but caring man who recognized early his son's intellectual gifts. Montpelier, the family estate, was a sprawling plantation that exposed young Madison to the realities of agriculture, slavery, and colonial economics. While his peers played outside, Madison immersed himself in books, driven by curiosity and a desire to understand the world beyond his limited physical abilities. This contrast between frailty and fierce intellect defined his approach to life: careful, thoughtful, and strategic. At Princeton, Madison came under the influence of tutors like John Witherspoon, who encouraged rigorous debate and deep reflection. His study of classical republicanism and the social contract taught him that governments must protect liberty while preventing tyranny. Madison's friendship with future leaders forged a network of allies and a lifelong passion for the principles of self-government. Here, Madison began to see the problems America would face: how to build a nation that could survive internal divisions and external threats without sacrificing individual freedoms. As the American Revolution unfolded, Madison's idealism was tempered by the complexities of war and governance. Elected to the Virginia House of Delegates, he worked tirelessly to create laws that balanced individual rights with the need for order. He pushed for religious freedom, supporting the landmark Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom drafted by Jefferson. This was one of Madison's earliest victories, showcasing his belief that liberty extended beyond politics into personal conscience. Yet, he also witnessed firsthand how fragile unity was among the states, foreshadowing the challenges ahead. Madison arrived at Philadelphia in 1787 armed with detailed proposals and a vision for a stronger federal government. Though quiet and unassuming, he was the intellectual engine of the convention. His Virginia plan proposed a system of representation based on population, a powerful executive branch, and separation of powers. Ideas designed to prevent any one faction or branch from dominating. Madison spent long days and nights negotiating, listening, and compromising. His detailed notes are the primary record of the debates, revealing his tireless commitment to shaping a balanced, durable government. The success of the Constitution was as much his as anyone's. With the Constitution drafted, Madison faced a new challenge: convincing a skeptical public to ratify it. Alongside Hamilton and Jay, Madison wrote the Federalist Papers, a masterful series of essays that explained the principles behind the new government and argued for its necessity. Madison's essays, including Federalist No. 10 and No. 51, remain some of the most insightful political writings ever produced. They tackled the dangers of factions and the need for checks and balances. This intellectual campaign was a political victory of immense importance, ensuring the Constitution's adoption and Madison's place as a foundational thinker. Though a strong Federalist, Madison understood that many feared the new government's power. He took the lead in drafting the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments guaranteeing freedoms such as speech, religion, and fair trial. This act of compromise solidified the Constitution's acceptance and proved Madison's political skill and sensitivity to public concerns. He famously called this the People's Plan, demonstrating his lifelong commitment to balancing strong governance with personal liberty. Serving as Secretary of State under Thomas Jefferson, Madison was instrumental in shaping early U.S. foreign policy. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803, which doubled the nation's size, was a bold move that Madison helped navigate legally and politically. Yet, tensions with Britain and France grew, complicating trade and diplomacy. Madison learned the difficult art of balancing ideals with pragmatism, preparing him for future challenges as president. Madison's presidency coincided with the War of 1812, a test of America's sovereignty and resilience. The conflict, sparked by British interference with American shipping and impressment of sailors, exposed weaknesses in the country's military and political unity. Washington, D.C.'s burning in 1814 was a symbolic low point. Madison, often criticized for the war's mismanagement, nonetheless remained steadfast. The war's end in 1815 brought a surge of national pride and confirmed American independence on the world stage. Madison's calm leadership during this crisis earned him respect, even if victory was bittersweet. Returning to Montpelier, Madison faced financial difficulties but remained intellectually active. He corresponded with politicians, defended the Constitution, and spoke out against sectionalism. Though his health declined, he lived to see his vision partially fulfilled. A united, growing nation governed by laws and principles he helped create. His humility, hard work, and lifelong dedication made him a revered figure until his death in 1836. Madison's legacy endures in the very structure of American government. His vision of checks and balances, federalism, and individual rights continues to guide the United States. Though he lacked the charisma of some of his peers, his intellectual rigor, perseverance, and commitment to principles made him a true founding father in every sense. Madison's life story teaches us that even those who begin quietly can shape history through vision, hard work, and dedication to a greater cause. One of the greatest personal and political struggles Madison faced was the contradiction between his belief in liberty and his status as a slaveholder. Montpelier depended on enslaved labor, and Madison inherited this system. Privately, he expressed moral unease and hoped for gradual emancipation, yet he never freed his own slaves during his lifetime. This contradiction haunted Madison and reflected a broader national failure. He recognized that slavery threatened the very unity and ideals of the republic he helped create. In correspondence, he worried about the future division slavery might cause, but was unable to find a viable political solution in his era. This internal conflict reveals Madison's complexity. A man ahead of his time in political thought, but constrained by the social and economic realities of his day. Even after retirement, Madison remained deeply involved as a mentor to the next generation. His correspondence with figures like John Quincy Adams, Henry Clay, and Thomas Jefferson shows his continued influence on shaping America's policies and constitutional interpretation. Madison believed the Constitution was a living document, capable of adaptation if leaders remained vigilant. He urged younger statesmen to prioritize national unity and warned against sectionalism. His advice often emphasized compromise and reason over partisan fervor, a counsel still relevant today. Madison's estate, Montpelier, became more than a home. It symbolized the complexities of early America. Over the centuries, Montpelier has been the site of historical preservation and reckoning, particularly with its ties to slavery. Madison's descendants and historians have worked to present a fuller picture, celebrating Madison's political genius while confronting the moral failures surrounding slavery. Montpelier's story embodies the ongoing American struggle to reconcile ideals with reality, much like Madison's own life. Today, Madison's ideas resonate across the globe. His vision of constitutional democracy with checks and balances has influenced countless nations seeking to build stable governments. His warnings about factionalism and the dangers of concentrated power are studied in political science and applied in debates about modern governance, civil rights, and federalism. Madison's legacy reminds us that democracy requires constant effort, vigilance, and a willingness to adapt, principles as vital now as in the 18th century. If you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and share.